Hello, beautiful human. I'm Angela, the Rose Heart Shaman. It is my pleasure to be with you. I am a modern shaman and I practice in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I take clients on the weekends and in evenings, virtually or in a couple of different locations around the Pittsburgh area. If you're having any difficulties with energy blocks, stuck energy, if you are going through repetitive cycles that you want to break, and you need some additional support, so feel free to check out my website for more information at roseheartshaman.com, or you can email me at roseheartshaman@yahoo.com. I also take tips, so I left my tip jar information in the description box. If you're interested in leaving me a tip, I greatly appreciate it, although it is not expected. I wish you always kindness and blessings from my heart and the greatest good for all parties involved. So here we go. Today's episode is a bit of a departure from my usual reading and or monologue. I'm going to do some dream interpretation. Recently, I had a disturbing dream that I want to break down for you because as it was happening and when I woke up and I remembered it, I knew what it was about, but I wanted to consult with my spirit guides and also the tarot to see if there were some additional meanings that I needed to understand. And that's what we're going to go through today. And as you know, normally I don't talk about dreams and I don't take notes, but today we're talking about my dream and I have notes. So this is something special. So thank you for joining me. So in my dream, I see this airplane. It's a white airplane coming through. It's flying low with blue letters on it and has 4 big block letters on them. And as this plane is coming in, as you know, when you see a plane coming in for a landing, it's kind of like this. But this one, or sometimes when you see it go into a turn, you've been on a plane sometimes and it kind of weaves over. This one was going the other way. It was tipping to the left and it was almost totally upside down, okay, as it was flying. It was trying to turn itself back upright. As it did the upright turn, it leveled off, but it kind of overcorrected and then it crashed in front of me it was kind of across the railroad tracks, into an area in between 2 warehouse buildings. Standing there in shock, looking at this explosion. So I wake up and I realize what it is. I'm watching the craziness in the world today unfold. And I don't watch a lot of it because I don't normally watch the news, but it's hard not to be impacted by what we hear or see in the news and just in people talking. So I'm watching all of this unfold. It crashes and it burns. Okay, so it's kind of like the message for me is don't get entangled in that. Stay out of their karma. Do what you're doing. Stay in your own joy, your own peace, and your own happiness. And that is the message. That is the key message for you. But I wasn't satisfied with that because I was a little bit disturbed. And I thought, in case I'm missing something, there was a lot of symbolism in it. Okay, and I thought, maybe I can go deeper here. The white and the blue colors, as well as, the pilot or whomever was trying to control things and it was out of control and therefore lost control and crashed. So there are a lot of forces at work today that are working against us. Those of us of free will who are trying to just live our best life. We're just trying to get through life and we're trying to shut out the noise. So I want you to think about the plane and the people in the plane or flying the plane as those who consider themselves higher than us, above us, all right? Whether they be world leaders, religious leaders, thought leaders, business leaders who are trying to control the game in their favor, not ours. And they're flooding the zone with all this nonsense and manipulation and information that's distorted. And we are impacted by that. So I want you to understand the plane represents the few, the very, very few. However, those few who have the power. And right now, that power is out of control. Whether you're thinking about the wars going on in the world or even just some of the craziness in our own country that the unrest, a lot of people are confused. What's the truth? What isn't the truth? So the white represents enlightenment, the truth, intuition, a being above it all, like not physically, but just rising above difficulty, just staying in your own inner peace and joy, right? The blue is communication. And there were 4 letters. At the moment, I can't recall what they were, but they were pretty big. They were very big letters, didn't make any sense to me. And there was also a blue stripe on it. But what the blue represents in normal times, blue is also the color of the sky. It's the color of communication. How people are communicating to us is distorted now. And they're trying to control a narrative that isn't the truth. All right, so I want you to stay with that. As I consulted the tarot, I picked 2 cards. One was a flip, and the second one I was guided to pick on my own without flip assistance. So the first one was the moon. Now, interestingly enough about the moon, there's a lot of symbolisms in this card. This is actually the dream card. How telling is that, huh? It represents uncertainty, illusions, fears, anxieties, repression, confusion and doubt. The howlers that you see there, the dogs or the wolves there, you know, the noisy, angry mob that's trying to be the loudest or the squeakiest wheels against those of us in the masses, projecting fear-based experiences or stress, suppressing people's emotions. And you can feel, I know a lot of people are suppressing their emotions right now. What this also means is that we are not getting the truth. And this is a call for us all to start trusting our gut, to getting in touch with our own inner knowing and intuition. If there's anything emotional that we are holding on to, we are being called to let it go, to release old fears, doubts, a lack of confidence in oneself, to let go. This is a purge card, to get rid of that suppression that you feel. The only time, sometimes the only thing we truly have to fear is fear itself. Our doubts are many times contrived on our own. But this also represents that secrets are about to be revealed. So we are just entering this, at the time of this recording, this is the new moon phase in Scorpio. And the new moon right now has a lot of powerful, positive energy for us to do everything I just said, for us to purge all that old nonsense out in order to make room for true enlightenment, for something new to come through. That airplane is also trying to suppress what's happening. So they were showing me, they meaning Spirit. Spirit was showing me recently what happened in Ohio. So the state of Ohio had, they passed into their constitution, right, the right to an abortion. But soon thereafter, the lawmakers wanted to try and subvert the will of the people and do something through some old trickery or what have you to make sure that the abortion law doesn't stay or hold in some way. Well, that is the airplane. That's a symbol for the airplane, not going against the will of the people. It's upside down, so it's trying to overcorrect itself by imposing its will, and as a result of that, it's going to crash and burn. That's an example of what I mean. I hope that makes sense for you. I was then guided to pick a card, so I selected the Wheel of Fortune. Now, this card also has a bazillion meanings. This represents the end of a cycle. So what is crashing and burning? Well, it's pretty much the end of a cycle, is it not? Okay, so it also means that big changes are coming for the greater good. But we're going to have to go through some discomfort through the moon cycle here, the howling, and before we can get there. And we also have to purge those things that we no longer need or want to hold on to. We are being encouraged to know that this won't be an easy change, but it will be for our highest good, and to focus on what you want. Like, what is it you really want to bring into your life, embody? How do you want to feel? What do you want to do? Okay, these changes can happen if you believe in them. The key word for me is always belief. You've got to believe in yourself and your own inner power in order to make that happen. So this is also, if you notice the symbol here, this is a directional axis. This is the flow of life. This is also the center of a compass. You've heard me talk about some of us have lost our compass, right? Now the day of reckoning for us is here. Now, some of you out there who believe in end times are going to change. They are going to end as we know it, but that doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means we're stepping into something new. And these power structures are breaking down in order for everyone on the planet who chooses to be liberated to be liberated. But I want you to understand the placebo effect is also a part of this. So the placebo effect, for quick reference, is if you believe that you're sick or that you have cancer or that you have chronic pain and you can't get rid of it, or if you are born into a family that always comes down with kidney cancer and you're worried you're going to get it, then you probably will get it. So, but if you have the power of your mind to believe, you know what, I'm healthier, I have a positive attitude, I live a better lifestyle, I don't believe that's going to happen to me, then in all probability, it's not going to happen to you because the mind is so powerful. You are being encouraged to connect the power of your mind into your heart and start living in a way that you want to be free. Like, what do you really want to do? How do you want to feel? Okay? So old patterns and fear, in order for us to invite in the wheel of fortune where we have more control, we're more in the flow of life. This is also about the flowing with life. We have to break old patterns like fear, anger, because this is an expansive energy. As I mentioned earlier, we're in the new moon phase, and the new moon is also an expansive energy. If you happen to catch this episode past the new moon, if you take the time to watch this message, it will benefit you no matter where you are in your timeline, in your life. So keep that in mind, all right? The angels always make that commitment to me. As long as you watch it, it's yours. It is also valid for you. So this is about being adaptable. You know, a lot of you are hard and stubborn. So I want to call out to those baby boomers and Gen Xers. Some of you are pretty stuck in your ways. This is challenge you to be adaptable. There's certain things you have to just go with the flow with. Stop trying to auto-correct everyone else's course and keep your nose out of other people's karma. Like that plane, if you're like me watching it crash, step away from the vehicle. You don't need to be nearby. You don't need to weigh in on it. You're making it worse by putting your thoughts into the ether. You want to send positivity into the world. You want to pray for the highest outcome of all parties involved without judgment, because we don't know all of the factors in the back end. So if you don't have anything personal to gain, just pray for peace and pray for goodness, pray for good health for all parties involved. And that way, that is the positive karma that will come back to you if you do it in a sincere way from your heart, okay? So it's time for you, baby boomers and Gen Xers. I am also a Gen Xer. We gotta start minding our own business, honey, okay? Let the millennials and let the Gen Zs be who they are. They gotta find their own way just like we did, all right? And we're not helping if we're not being supportive. So there's a big life lesson here for everyone who makes it through the howling moon cycle, the plane crash, all right? We are going to have our own day of reckoning. It is not the end of the world, but we're gonna have to just learn to live and let live, people. Go with the flow, mind your own business, and stay away from the dumpster fires that are happening in the three-ring circus of life. What I'm saying is you don't want to get too entangled in the karma of everyone else, and you want to pray for the best and highest outcome of all parties involved, including you. And my darlings, if you can do that, then the wheel of fortune will start to spin for you in a better flow of your own life, where you can start to accept the things that you cannot change. So that was a long way around, my dears. I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, if you would like to schedule a private session with me, I am here to help humanity rise and live in the best version of you. So I love you, and I will check in with you again soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you.